Now, suppose the G is the so-called terminal growth rate. Well, we can predict what fourth year dividend is going to be. That's D3 times 1 plus G. Now, if I time travel to the end of year 3, from that vantage point, this company is going to pay that D4 in year 4. After that, it's going to grow it at a constant rate. That means V3 is fourth year dividend divided by R minus G. All I have to do is calculate that, plug it into that formula, and add them up. Of course, we're civilized people. We're going to let Excel take care of all of that. And the way we would do that, and first, let me make my unknown market value again. Now, let's do an example. Company is expected to pay $10, $15, $20 in the next 3 years, and grow at a rate of 5% after that. And discount rate is 8%. So what is the value of the firm? First, I'm going to do it manually to kind of show you the mechanics. Then we're going to implement this in the template. So you know what these are? $10 divided by 1.10, 1.08, I'm sorry. $15 divided by 1.08 square. $20 divided by 1.08 square, cubed. Now I need to get V3. D4 is going to be $20 times 1.05. That would be 21, right? So that's going to be, just a second. It's actually exactly 700 if I haven't done it wrong. Yeah. So if you add these up, 10 divided by 1.08, $9.26 approximately. 15 divided by 1.08 squared, 2086, plus 720 divided by 1.08 cubed. So adding those up, Let's see. Of course, we're civilized people. We're not going to do all of that. The way I set up this template, uh, the required rate of return, terminal growth, and year one dividend are already there. In fact, you cannot even delete those rows. In fact, I'll try. You're not allowed to delete the first rows, but I know three dividends, so I'm going to add. It automatically inserts year two dividend, year three dividend. So just enter those numbers, 10, 15, 20. My required is 8, terminal growth is 5. What do you know? You got exactly the same number, right? And I made those intermediate calculations there on purpose for you to see where that 593 comes from. First, using Excel formula, it determines exactly how many years of dividends are known. It's 3. It basically counts the rows in that input table and deducts 4 from that. That gives you 3 tables, 3 known dividends. And last known dividend, there's a nice little function in Excel called offset. It basically says, give me a reference, then tell me how many rows and columns from that I need to move to get to what I want. In this case, D6 is basically the terminal growth number. I say go by number of known dividends from that. That gives me the last known dividend. So I automatically know D3 is 20. Then if I know D3, I can calculate D4, right? This calculates present value of known dividends. Again, it's uh, it's better to look at it from here. It uses the NPV function and offset to figure out exactly which numbers to use. So the present value of the first 3 dividends are actually $38. Then it calculates the terminal value. That's the value at the end of year 3. As you know, we calculated that as 700. Then it calculates present value of that. I discount that for 3 years. Then this value is simply sum of the present value of non-dividends plus present value of the terminal value. You can actually think of it. I worked as a financial engineer. I designed and sold customized derivative products. I could have actually created 2 securities of this company. The first security says you are entitled to receive the dividends in the first 3 years, but after that you get nothing. Okay? Then I sell you that security, and I basically say I expect you to pay $38 for that. The second security says you get nothing the first 3 years, but you're entitled to all the dividends after that. That's the present value, the terminal value. Early company, late company. So in this case, the late company is worth 555.68, but early company is worth only 38. Okay. Since uh, the cash flow from 2 securities is exactly the same as cash flow from the stock itself, obviously the values of those 2 securities, some of the values of those 2 securities have to equal to the value of the company stock. That's the way you kind of need to think about it. We can be applied in different stuff. Normally, this model doesn't apply at all to a company that is not currently paying any dividends because, they're paying nothing. So if I apply this model to Google, it's going to say Google is worth zero. We know it's not. What if we said, okay, Google is not paying anything now, but we expect Google to pay their first dividend in year 5, and after that, they're going to grow it at a constant rate of 5%. How would you approach that problem? So let's write it down. A firm is paying no dividends now, but is expected to pay its first dividend in year 5 and grow dividends at 5% a year